Hey guys, welcome back to New York Sports MC. Sorry it's been a little while since I've uploaded a video as we're all adjusting to this new life that we're living from the virtual world here and how to get everything squared away with my job. Um, but wanted to come back with a video here as I'm getting ready to drop a mock draft since the main part of free agency is over. There are still some players that I think we should and could bring in through free agency, but I don't think any that would drastically impact the way the draft is going to be for the New York Jets. So I wanted to go through this series here. It's going to be a two-parter. One, we're going to start with the defense, kind of go through where I feel we are on that end of the ball, and then as well as do I see us targeting any of these positions in the draft? What part of the draft would I target them at? So let's look at the 2019 season, and Greg Williams did a fabulous job with the little pieces that he had last year, as no matter where you look, we ranked out right around the top 10. I saw as high as 8 or 9. I saw 11 or 12. So we're pretty much like top 10 as far as a defensive unit goes. And that is extremely impressive given all the injuries that we had up and down the defensive side. Players that we had never even heard of before the season started, that weren't even in camp with us before the season started, that were playing significant minutes, and Greg Williams continued to impress and produce on the defensive side of the ball. So I had a few numbers I just want to go through. Yards per game, we had given up the 7th fewest yards per game last year. Points per game, we were at 16, so right in the middle of the pack there. Rushing yards, we were second in the league. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were number 1. We were number 1 for a very good portion of the year. So right up there, one of the top run defenses in the league, and that is very, very impressive, seeing as we didn't even have our all-pro inside linebacker in C.J. Mosley for the whole season. Yards per attempt, we were tied for first. Rushing yards per attempt. So I wanted to make sure I emphasize that because a lot of people are going to say, well, they didn't have to run against us because our pass defense was so bad. Why run when they can just throw the ball for days against us, right? But yards per attempt was first in the league. So it's not like they were gashing us and then just didn't have to do it anymore and they'd only get 60 or 70 or 80 yards. No, they were trying to run and they were not successful. And then, of course, yes, our pass defense did not help because they were so easily passed upon. And we're going to get to that. We were 17th in the league passing yards against, which actually I was surprised. I thought we were going to be a lot lower than that bottom feeder, but that's pretty much middle of the pack. Which is impressive given the lack of talent that we had at the cornerback position last year. Completion percentage for the opposing quarterbacks was 13th in the league, and yards per attempt was 12th in the league. So again, right there around that's closer to top 10, but really more in that middle of the pack. So, and our DVOA as a defense was also 10th in the league. So you look at some of these numbers, and it's very, very impressive. You look at who was playing on this defense at the end of last year. Let's go position group by position group. Defensive line. This is one where you're probably not going to get a pass because most of those people were there. You had Henry Anderson. So Quinton Williams is the one where I'm going to give the pass because he was kind of banged up all year. We really didn't get to see what he's able to do. McClendon was still there. Phillips, who, as I mentioned earlier in this video, somebody that just came out of nowhere. I had no idea who Phillips was before midway through the season. I'm not afraid to admit that. I think most of us had no idea who he was. But he came on and played extremely well. I'm really excited to see what he can do in year 2 here. I was obviously an undrafted free agent, making those huge strides. Let's see what he can do with a full offseason. And hopefully a full offseason, and hopefully we get back to our normal within the next month or 2 here. But so defensive line, I think that unit's only going to improve. Really, the only aging piece is McClendon, which I think he's going to now transition more to which he has been, a veteran leadership and less production. But Quinton Williams, I really think is going to take a step forward this year. It's very difficult making that transition from college to the NFL. And then having the lower leg injuries hamper your whole season, that's not going to help somebody that's in the trenches like Quinn Williams. You need to have that explosiveness. You need to have your legs. That's your base for everything. If you don't have that power coming up, or you don't have confidence in that power coming up, you're not going to be able to play to your full potential or even at your full speed. So I really want to see what Quinn Williams can do this year. Hopefully he can stay healthy, because he did miss much of camp, then missed a few games, banged up all year. We need him healthy to see if Greg Williams can develop him and to see if he can live up to the hype of the number 3 overall pick from last year. So now we go to the linebacker group, and this is where we were probably one of the most devastated groups that we've had last year, as C.J. Mosley, all-pro inside linebacker, was hurt all season long. We really had him for 2 quarters. I know he came back for the Patriots game, but he was a shell of himself. He should have never been in that game. So it's going to be interesting to see. They held up well enough. When we go through C.J. Mosley, obviously Avery Williamson got hurt in the preseason. Neville Hewitt, Burgess, Blake Cashman, right? All these different people that wrote. Even Copeland slid to inside linebacker last year. So C.J. Mosley, I'm not worried about injury history with him. He really wasn't hurt before this past year. Kind of a freak injury that lingered on for a while. Ended up needing surgery. So I expect him to be back 100% healthy for this upcoming year and take over control of that team and that defense in the middle of the field. On the outside, we brought back Jordan Jenkins. I think this is the area where we would need to look to improve in the draft, potentially with a 3rd, 4th, or 5th round pick, as Copeland did not come back. So right now we do not have a starter on the outside opposite of Jordan Jenkins. I know the team was very impressed with Harvey Lange, but I would not count on him to be the starter. I would definitely want to bring in somebody to compete with him. This is also where you can see maybe a Vinny Curry being added in free agency. But when you look at that linebacking group, that's where this defense can really take a leap forward. As I mentioned, in DVOA, we were 10th in the league without all-pro inside linebacker C.J. Mosley, who my honest opinion, obviously he's an all-pro. He's one of, if not the best inside linebacker in the game, especially with Kuechly now retiring. So you're 10th in the league without C.J. Mosley. He is going to make a significant impact and help that team. We saw it. The Bills couldn't do a thing against us in that first half. They couldn't do anything until Mosley got hurt. That's when they started moving the ball and started scoring. So imagine this 10th ranked defense with adding an all-pro inside linebacker. So yes, we didn't add big pieces to the defense this offseason. We really didn't add many pieces. But you're plugging in an all-pro that we didn't have all of last season. So now you go to the defensive backs. This is addition by subtraction. Watching Jermaine Johnson, watching Darryl Roberts, I couldn't stomach it anymore. Having those guys gone is going to help this team. It's a shame that you have 2 starters week 1 that were so bad that people that were on the streets and people that, like Bless Austin, who were expected to redshirt due to injury concerns, had to come in and be pressed into playing because you were just so unproductive. So having those guys just out of there, not taking reps away from some of these younger guys like Bless Austin, like Arthur Millette, letting those guys kind of develop, as well as bringing in Pierre Desir. Hear from a lot of different people, I also agree with this, that he could be a sneaky signing this offseason. Cut by the Colts. And 2018, he had a very, very nice year. Last year, he kind of had a little ups and downs. He was battling a little bit of injuries as well. We kind of got him on a prove-it deal. I think he's going to go out there and really try to show out, especially with the new TV deals coming soon. He could potentially put himself in a spot to get a pretty nice deal. And then we look in the back end and safeties, and obviously Jamal Adams is there, and Marcus May has showed for at least one season that he can stay healthy. I think that tandem is going to continue to develop together and become the best safety duo in the league. Jamal is already the best safety in the league, in my opinion, or at least arguably top 3, top 5. And Marcus May, I believe, will help to elevate that group to the top safety group in the league. I just want to slide back to corner for a second. as this is an area I can see us spending a day 2 draft pick on to help compete with Bless Austin, Arthur Millette, and also, as I mentioned, Desir is on a 1-year contract. So that's somebody that can be a one and done. I almost see him like a Maurice Claiborne. 1 year, maybe re-up him for another 1 year, depending on what happens this upcoming year. But really like a bridge gap to try to get some of these other guys to develop. Unfortunately, when we had Claiborne, the other guys did not develop that we were bringing in. So hopefully this time's different. You guys, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I am a huge Damon Arnette fan. But he would probably cost us a 2nd or 3rd round pick. I'd almost be willing to do it. He's a great press man corner. The wide receiver class is deep, so even if we did go Arnette in the 2nd, you could try to package your 2/3 and move up and grab somebody in the 2nd round as well. Or you can sit pat in the 3rd and still get some pretty good value. So when it comes to the defense, I'm very, very excited to see what Gregg Williams will do this upcoming year as he reinserts his all-pro inside linebacker in C.J. Mosley, adds the pieces in Desir, and probably an edge in the mid rounds. But I don't really see us doing much in the draft when it comes to the defensive side. Like I said, maybe a corner day 2, maybe an edge day 3. That's about it. Obviously, no day 1 pick. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Are there any free agents that you still want them to add to this defense? And what draft picks might you want to add to this team, and what rounds would you target those positions? If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel, click the thumbs up, click the bell for the notifications for all my videos. We'll be coming out with the offensive one in about a day or so. And as always, Jet up.